She was a broke waitress working alone at midnight when 10 bikers, soaked and desperate, knocked on her door. Every place had turned them away. Her hand trembled as she unlocked it. What she didn't know, their president would bring 999 more to save her. The neon sign outside Maggie's diner flickered 3 times before dying completely. Emma Hayes didn't even look up, too busy counting the 7 bills and handful of coins that represented her entire Tuesday night earnings. 11:47 p.m., sleet hammering against windows like angry fists. She was the only soul left. "Great," she muttered, shoving the pathetic pile into her apron pocket. $17.63, after splitting tips with the cook who'd left at 9, less than minimum wage again. Emma was 28 but felt 50, strawberry blonde hair and a messy bun, uniform 2 years old, fraying at the seams. Bags under green eyes told the story of someone working 3 jobs just to keep her head above water. Maggie's was supposed to be temporary 2 years ago. Now it felt like a life sentence. She grabbed the coffee pot and began closing routine. Wipe counter, stack chairs, mop floors, bang, bang, bang. The sudden pounding made Emma jump, nearly dropping the pot. Through the rain-streaked window, shapes, big shapes, at least 10 of them, all wearing leather, standing in the downpour. Every instinct screamed to pretend she hadn't heard. Almost midnight. Diner officially closed. These were clearly bikers, the kind her mother warned her about her whole life, the kind who meant trouble. But then she saw one shivering violently, arms wrapped around himself, another helping an older guy who could barely stand. They weren't banging threateningly, they were knocking desperately. Emma's hand hesitated on the deadbolt. The smart thing. Point at the closed sign, go back to mopping, the safe thing. The thing that wouldn't get her robbed. Or worse. But Emma had never been good at doing the smart thing when someone needed help. She unlocked the door. "We're closed." The words died in her throat. 10 men completely soaked through, shaking from cold, leather jackets plastered to their bodies, massive Harleys parked haphazardly in the lot, chrome gleaming under streetlights. "We know," said the man in front. Voice rough but not unkind. Tall, maybe 50, gray beard, eyes that had seen things. The patch on his jacket read, "Iron Hawks MC, President." "We've been to 4 places. Nobody would let us in. Storm came out of nowhere. Highways flooded ahead. We just need somewhere warm to wait it out. We can pay." Emma looked past him. Mixed group, young and old, different races, all wearing the same desperate expression. One guy couldn't have been older than 25, teeth chattering so hard she could hear them from 6 feet away. "How long have you been riding in this?" she asked. 2 hours, the president said. "Look, if you're scared, we understand. We'll move on?" "Get inside before you all catch pneumonia," Emma interrupted, pulling the door wide. "Quickly, before the wind takes it off the hinges." The bikers stared like she'd just spoken Mandarin. "You're letting us in?" the young one asked, disbelief written across his face. "I said quickly. Track water, I don't care. Just get out of that storm." They filed in like obedient schoolchildren, leaving puddles with every step. Emma locked the door and immediately started pulling down chairs. "Sit anywhere. I'll get coffee going and see what's left in the kitchen." "Ma'am," the president said, water dripping from his beard. "We can pay. We're not looking for charity." Emma turned, hands on hips. "Did I say it was charity? You'll pay for food if you order it. Coffee's free tonight because I'm not charging for basic human decency. Now sit down before you flood my entire diner." A smile tugged at his mouth. "Yes, ma'am." As they settled into booths, Emma fired up the coffee maker and headed to the kitchen. Cook had left hours ago, but she knew her way around. Eggs, bacon, toast. Simple stuff she could handle. Within minutes, the smell of breakfast filled the air, mixing with rain sounds and low murmur of grateful voices. She brought out the first pot of coffee. The way they looked at those steaming mugs broke something inside her chest, like she'd handed them liquid gold instead of cheap diner coffee. "How much do we owe you?" the president asked. "I told you, it's free." "Not just for coffee," his eyes were serious. "For opening your door when nobody else would. For treating us like people instead of problems." Emma felt her cheeks warm. "I'm just doing what anyone should do." "But they didn't," said the young biker quietly. "Last place, the guy threatened to call the cops just for asking. Said we looked like trouble." "Well," Emma said, refilling his cup, "you look like trouble that needs hot coffee and dry socks. There's a difference." That got genuine laughs. For the next 2 hours, Emma cooked, served, and talked with them. She learned their names. The president was Garrett Bear Sullivan. The young one was Jesse. The older guy struggling was called Pops. They were riding from California to a memorial service in Pennsylvania. A brother had died. They were family. "I'm sorry for your loss," Emma said softly, setting down plates of scrambled eggs and bacon. "Thank you," Garrett said. He glanced at the others, then back at her. "What's your name, miss?" "Emma. Emma Hayes." "Well, Emma Hayes?" He raised his coffee mug slightly. "The Iron Hawks don't forget kindness. You remember that." She smiled, thinking it was just talk. Nice talk, but talk nonetheless. "I'll remember. Now eat before it gets cold." If you believe that one act of kindness can change everything, hit that like button and subscribe to Iron Brotherhood Stories. Because what happens next proves that loyalty runs deeper than blood, and sometimes strangers become the family you've been searching for. Let's see how this unfolds. By 2 a.m., the storm had passed. The bikers paid their bill for the food, not the coffee, though Emma tried, and left a tip that made her eyes water. $80, more than her entire night's earnings. As they filed out, each one thanked her personally. Garrett was last. He paused at the door, studying her face like memorizing it. "You work here every night?" he asked. "Most nights," Emma admitted. "Why?" "Just wondering." He pulled something from his pocket, a business card with a phone number and the Iron Hawks logo. "You ever need anything? You call this number? Day or night, understand?" Emma took the card, confused. Okay. Good." He smiled, a real smile. "And Emma, check your phone in the morning." Before she could ask what he meant, he was gone. The rumble of 10 Harleys fading into the night. Emma stood in the doorway, watching their taillights disappear. She didn't know it yet, but her life had just changed forever. The photo that Jesse had quietly taken, Emma handing out coffee with a tired but genuine smile, was already uploading to every biker forum and social media group on the East Coast. Emma woke up at 10:30 a.m. to 247 missed calls. Her phone was literally vibrating off the nightstand. Notifications stacked so high they'd stopped loading properly. Heart pounding, she opened Facebook. 32,847 friend requests, 15,000 plus messages, tags in hundreds of posts. The first post she saw was from the Iron Hawks MC official page, posted at 3:17 a.m. "Last night, 10 of our brothers got caught in a freak storm. Hypothermic, soaked to the bone, turned away from 4 establishments for looking dangerous. Then this woman, Emma Hayes, working alone at a closed diner at midnight, opened her door without hesitation, fed us, warmed us, treated us like human beings. The Iron Hawks don't forget. Ever share this. Find her. Show her what brotherhood means. Below it, the photo Jesse had taken. Emma, exhausted but smiling, pouring coffee. Her name tag visible, the diner's logo clear. The post had been shared 847,000 times. Emma's hands shook as she scrolled through comments. This is what real kindness looks like. Someone find this woman. We need to thank her properly. Emma Hayes is a damn hero. Iron Hawks, you know what to do. She kept scrolling. Local news outlets had picked it up. Regional papers. Someone had started a GoFundMe. Biker clubs from 12 states were commenting, pledging support. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered, voice shaking. Emma Hayes? Yes? My name is Dutch. I ride with the Devil's Disciples out of Philadelphia. Saw what you did for the Hawks last night. We're organizing something. You free this Saturday? What? Organizing what? You'll see. Just be at your diner. 2 p.m. Trust me. He hung up. 3 more calls came. Different clubs. Same cryptic message. Be at your diner Saturday, 2 p.m. By Wednesday, the local news station showed up at Maggie's. Emma tried to decline the interview, but they were persistent. You're a hero, the reporter insisted. People want to know about you. I'm not a hero. I just opened a door. That's exactly why you're a hero. You saw human beings who needed help, and you helped. In a world where people are quick to judge, you chose kindness. The interview aired that night. More shares, more attention, more bikers reaching out. Emma had no idea what was happening, but something told her Saturday was going to change everything. Thursday brought something unexpected. Mr. Patterson showed up at the diner, face red with anger. What the hell did you do? He demanded. I don't know what you mean. I've got bikers calling me, emailing me, showing up at my house, all asking about the diner, about you, about working conditions here. Emma's stomach dropped. I didn't tell them to. I don't care what you told them. This attention is bad for business. I'm thinking of closing this place, selling the property. You'll be out of a job. He stormed out before Emma could respond. She stood frozen behind the counter, her world crumbling. The viral attention that was supposed to be good was destroying the one stable thing she had left. That night, she called the number on Garrett's card. Iron Hawks. This is Emma Hayes. Is Garrett available? Emma, hold on. Garrett's voice came through seconds later. Emma, everything okay? Mr. Patterson is threatening to close the diner. He's angry about all the attention. I think I'm going to lose my job. Silence. Then, Saturday, 2 p.m. Be there. Trust us. But, trust us, Emma. The Iron Hawks don't forget, and we don't let family fall. Emma had no idea what Saturday would bring, but for the first time in days, she felt a spark of hope. Saturday, 1:45 p.m. Emma stood behind the counter of Maggie's diner, nervous energy making her hands shake. The owner, Mr. Patterson, a grumpy 67-year-old who'd been threatening to close the place for months, sat in the back booth, suspicious and cranky as always. I don't know what you're planning, he'd grumbled that morning, but if you're bringing trouble here... I'm not planning anything, Emma had insisted. And it was true. She had no idea what was about to happen. She'd spent the morning in a fog of anxiety. What if Patterson made good on his threat? What if she lost the diner? What if the viral attention ruined everything instead of helping? At exactly 2 RPM, she heard it. A rumble, distant at first, then growing, growing, growing. The windows started vibrating. Coffee cups rattled on their saucers. The entire building seemed to shake. Mr. Patterson stood up, face pale. "What the hell is that?" Emma walked to the window and stopped breathing. Motorcycles, hundreds of them, pouring into the parking lot like a river of chrome and leather, filling the street, blocking traffic, an endless stream of Harleys, each one carrying a rider in club colors. Iron Hawks, Devil's Disciples, Road Warriors, Savage Saints, Steel Brotherhood, Lost Legion, Thunder Gods, Fallen Angels, chains from different states, different chapters, all converging on one small diner. The noise was deafening, the sight overwhelming. They kept coming, and coming, and coming. The rumble lasted 5 full minutes. Neighbors came out of their houses. Cars pulled over to watch. Someone was recording on their phone. By 2:15 p.m., the parking lot was full. The street was full. The entire block was full. Motorcycles stretched as far as Emma could see. 999 motorcycles, 999 bikers, all for one waitress who'd opened a door at midnight. Garrett "Bear" Sullivan dismounted his lead bike and walked to the door. Behind him, a wall of leather and Brotherhood that seemed endless. He entered. The bell chimed. Emma stood frozen behind the counter, tears already streaming. She couldn't speak, couldn't move, could barely breathe. "Emma Hayes," Garrett said, voice carrying through the silent diner. "You showed 10 strangers kindness when everyone else showed us doors. You fed us, warmed us, treated us like human beings when the world treated us like threats." He gestured to the sea of bikers visible through the windows, an ocean of leather, chrome, and loyalty. "The Iron Hawks don't forget, and we called in every favor, every brother, every ally we've got. 999 riders from 17 clubs across 8 states, all here for you." Emma's hands covered her mouth. Tears streamed freely now. "We heard Mr. Patterson here is planning to close this diner, sell the property, put you out of work." Mr. Patterson's face went red. "That's private business." "Not anymore." A massive biker named Tank interrupted, stepping forward. "We did our research. You've been dodging health inspections, skimping on employee pay, pocketing tip money, running this place into the ground while Emma works herself to death keeping it alive." The air in the diner went cold. "We're here to make you an offer," Garrett continued. "You sell the diner to us, today. Fair market price, probably more than you deserve. We renovate it. Emma runs it, becomes part owner, and this place becomes what it should have been all along. A home." Mr. Patterson sputtered. "You can't just—" "I won't! This is extortion!" "Or," Tank stepped forward, all 6'5" and 280 pounds of him, "we make sure every health code violation, every labor law you've broken, every corner you've cut, every tip you've stolen gets reported. To the state, to the IRS, to everyone who needs to know." He pulled out a folder, thick with documents. "We've been busy this week. Talked to your former employees, gathered evidence, built a case. Your choice. Walk away with money and your freedom, or fight us and lose everything." Silence hung heavy. Mr. Patterson looked at Emma, at the 999 bikers watching through the windows, at the choice that wasn't really a choice. "How much?" he finally asked. 3 hours later, papers were signed. Mr. Patterson walked out with a check and his tail between his legs. Emma owned Maggie's Diner, officially, with the Iron Hawks as silent partners and protectors. She stood in the doorway as 909 engines roared to life, a symphony of gratitude, of brotherhood, of loyalty repaid. Garrett approached one last time. "You saved us when we were drowning," he said quietly. "So we made sure you'd never drown again." I don't know how to thank you, Emma whispered. You already did. You opened the door. 2 months later, Maggie's diner was transformed. Fresh paint, warm yellows and reds that made the place feel alive. New equipment in the kitchen, updated booths, floors refinished, health code compliant, and then some. Emma had hired 3 new staff members. Jennifer, a single mom who needed flexible hours. Ray, a veteran struggling to find work. And Maria, a college student working her way through school. She paid them fairly, split tips evenly, gave them respect and dignity, and every single night, 3 Ironhawks members rotated guardian shifts, ensuring Emma never closed alone again. Sometimes it was Jesse and his girlfriend, sometimes Tank and his crew, always someone watching, protecting, being family. The photo of that first night, Emma serving coffee to 10 soaked bikers, hung above the register in a custom frame. Below it, a plaque Garrett had made. Where Brotherhood begins with coffee. The diner became legendary in the biker community. Riders from across the country made pilgrimages. They'd come in, order breakfast, and ask Emma to sign their club vests. She'd become an honorary member of 17 different motorcycle clubs, an unheard-of honor. But it wasn't just bikers. Families came to see the kindness place. The story had made national news. Teachers brought field trips. Veterans found community. Outcasts found acceptance. Emma, once broke and hopeless, now ran a thriving business. She'd paid off her student loans, moved into a better apartment. For the first time in her adult life, she wasn't drowning. More importantly, she had a family. The kind that showed up. The kind that stayed. The kind that proved blood doesn't make family. Loyalty does. One Tuesday night, almost exactly like that first night, Emma was closing up. The clock read 11:47 p.m. Rain was starting to fall. Not a storm, just a steady drizzle. She was wiping down the counter when a young couple approached the door. They were soaked, shivering, clearly nervous about knocking on a closed diner's door. Emma saw them through the window, saw the fear, saw the desperation, saw herself 2 months ago. Without hesitation, she walked to the door and unlocked it. "Come in," she said, smiling. "Coffee's free, and you look like you need it." Their faces, the disbelief, the gratitude, the relief. It was exactly how the Ironhawks had looked that first night. As they entered and settled into a booth, Emma poured coffee and started the grill. One of the Guardian bikers, a guy named Crow, watched from the corner booth, smiling. "You're doing it again," he said. "Doing what?" "Changing someone's life. You know that couple is going to tell everyone they know about this. About you. The cycle continues." Emma looked at the couple warming their hands on coffee mugs, and she understood. Kindness wasn't a one-time transaction. It was a movement, a legacy, a ripple that spread farther than you could ever see. She'd opened a door for 10 strangers. They'd brought 999 more. And together, they'd built something beautiful, something that would outlive all of them. Outside, the rain fell steady and soft. Inside, Maggie's diner glowed warm and welcoming, a beacon for anyone caught in a storm. And Emma Hayes, once a broke waitress barely surviving, was finally, completely home. If this story reminded you that one act of courage and compassion can change everything, hit that subscribe button to Iron Brotherhood Stories for more true tales of loyalty, redemption, and the unbreakable bonds that form when strangers become family. Tell us in the comments, have you ever helped someone society told you to fear? Have you witnessed unexpected heroes changing lives? Your story might inspire someone to open their door when it matters most. Emma Hayes was a broke waitress who opened a door at midnight. 10 bikers came in from the storm. 9999 more came to save her. And in doing so, they proved that sometimes the most unlikely people become your fiercest protectors. Sometimes salvation comes on 2 wheels and wears leather. Sometimes family isn't who you're born to. It's who shows up when the storm hits. And sometimes, all it takes to change the world is one person willing to unlock a door and say, "Come in. You're welcome here." That's the power of kindness. That's the promise of brotherhood. And that's why the Iron Hawks never forget.